Sometimes it's good to have a deep link in your application that can be opened from another application. In this video, I will show you how to create a deep link in Jetpack Compose navigation and how you can open it from external apps. So let's get started by creating a new application in Android Studio. I open Android Studio and wait for the window to appear. Okay, new project, empty compose activity, next. I name it deep link and save it in the compose course directory, deep link, and let's change the directory name to the project name to compose deep link so that I can save it in deep link directory, and I press finish, waiting for the project to be created. Okay, the project is created. As the first step, I go to build.gradle file and add the compose navigation library. Navigation compose 100 alpha 01. Because I don't know the exact latest version, I use alpha 1 so that Android Studio can help me with the latest version. Yes, the latest version is 2.4 alpha 9. So change to that latest version by selecting the option, and also compose version is not up to date. The latest version is 102, but we are using 101. Let's update it. I do that from the other build.gradle file. For the whole project, I change the version to 102. Then I press sync now and wait for the sync to be done. Let's close these files. Back to main activity. I open tool windows, appearance, enter presentation mode, so that we can see the code better. As the first step, I remove the default composables and also the call to greeting that was previously there. I create my navigation screen, a new composable, and I name it my screens. This will contain my navigation and my navigation graph. Let's call it in our surface main screens, and in the my screens function I'm gonna create a navigation controller, val nav controller. Remember nav controller, then a nav host. For the nav host, I have to pass a nav controller and then start destination. I use the home route that I will create soon, start destination, and then the navigation graph I created in the lambda for nav host. Then I create my first route, which is home. It doesn't take any parameters. It just shows home screen, which is a composable that I will create by pressing Alt and Enter on it. It is just a simple box. Let's import box, modifier, Let's import modifier. modifier, fill max size, and inside the body of the box I'm gonna create a text element. Welcome to home screen. This is our home screen. Let's use a font size of 30 sp. And the text alignment, text align of center, modifier. I use a modifier to center line it inside the box, alignment.center. Okay, let's now move on to other screen, our next composable. This will be a route to my deep link. So I'm gonna create a deep link here. For the deep link, I'm gonna use a route of greeting. This will take a parameter as the name to greet. For example, I will pass in my name and then it will say hello Mehdi. You can pass other parameters. So this is the route, and also because it needs a parameter, we pass the parameter inside its route. This is a required parameter. You can also make it optional by using this syntax, the question mark and then name and the value for it. But we're gonna use the required parameter syntax, which is simpler for this case. So name, list of arguments, it is a list of arguments. There's only one argument, so list of nav argument is called name, and its type is string because the navigation argument types are string by default. I don't specify the type. And after that we move on to the important part, which is deep links. Because this is a deep link, I need to use this option, deep links. And again, this is a list of deep links, and we create deep links with nav deep link. It has several fields to specify in the nav deep link lambda. The most important one is the URI path. So you can see the list of fields that you can fill with this dot. You can see that we have URI pattern, action, and MIME type. The important one is URI pattern, that is needed here, URI pattern. And the pattern that I'm gonna use is my app : / and then greeting, and then the parameter name. And in the body of the composable, I'm gonna use the nav backstack entry to extract this parameter and use it. So I'm gonna create a composable that will create a screen for it, and that's gonna be called a greeting screen. That takes a name, takes this name and greets it. So let's create it. create composable name string. This is the parameter that it takes, and in the body of it, it's gonna create a box, a simple box, and then inside the body of the box it creates the name hello, that name, hello name, modifier fill max size. Let's use a background color, background of red for the box. Import color, import background, and let's use a style for our text, material theme dot typography dot h3, for example, and padding modifier padding dot 16 dot depth. All right, back to the definition of our deep link. Here we need to extract the value of our parameter specified in the deep link. So I say it, which is the nav backstack entry dot arguments dot get string. Its name is name, and because it's a nullable string, as you can see by hovering with your mouse on get string, it is nullable. It doesn't work this way, but I convert it to string so that it gives me a string value that can be passed to greeting screen. So that's it for my deep link. But note that this deep link is not accessible just as is from other applications. In order to make it accessible, I need to go to the Android manifest file and define some stuff over there, define some filters. So I go to my project explorer and then find Android manifest. Here you can see that there's an intent filter. I can use this intent filter or define my own. I define my own intent filter, and inside it there are some tags that I need to add. One of them is action. For its name, I'm gonna use android.intent.action.view, and the next one is category. Its name is gonna be default and browsable. So android.intent.category.default, and category with the name of Android name, android.intent.category.browsable. This way we will be able to open our application with a link from a web browser in our phone. The next required tag that I need to use is data, that specifies the type of the URI to use, Android scheme, which is the prefix of my URI. It's gonna be my app, which lets me use my app colon / later when I want to open this app, and Android dot scheme and Android dot host. For the host, I'm gonna use the path that I created in my deep link, greeting, this way, and I close the data tag. That's it for the definitions in our Android manifest file. I return back to main activity and I run it. Shift F10, I run the application, wait for the app to be built and installed on the emulator. Alright, it's being launched. Okay, welcome to home screen. This is the home screen of my Compose app. And the next step, I'm gonna create another application that's a native Android app. And from that application, I'm gonna open this Compose app that has a nav deep link. And I'm gonna open the deep link of this Compose app from the other native app. So let's go ahead and create that app. File, new project, empty activity, not Compose activity, and I'm gonna name it my native app, and I'm gonna save it in the deep link directory so that I can later package both of these apps as the source code and the projects of this lecture. And I press finish, waiting for the project to be created. It's being built in another window. Okay, the app has been created. As you can see, it has a layout, activity main. I can open it and you can see that it's a text view that reads hello world. I'm gonna change this to a button so that by clicking it I can open the deep link from the other application. So I go to code editor and change the text view tag to button. Also I'm gonna give it an ID, @ID / button, I name it. And for the text I'm gonna use open deep link or greet Mehdi. And in order to make it more usable, actually I can have a text edit text, and inside it let's use 0dp for the width and height, and ID edit text. It needs some constraints, so I'm gonna use some magic constraints for it. Let's use some height and width for it so that we can see where it is. Let's constrain it from the top to our button and from the left and right to the parent. And I'm gonna change its width to 0dp and height to 0dp. Actually, for its height I'm gonna use wrap content like this, and it has an ID. Good. There's a warning here, it's not important. I'm gonna take the name from here and pass it to the other application that has a deep link, to that deep link. So greet that name, greet me. Let's go to main activity and write some code. In the main activity, after set content view, first I'm gonna define a button its type is button, find view by ID r.id.button, and like this. Actually, find view by ID, find view by ID, find view by ID, its type is button, ID is button. Then I set an on-click listener to it, and inside the on-click listener I take the text, val text, by finding that text editor or edit text, find view by ID, edit text, r.id.edit text, import edit text as well, and then I take its text and convert it to toString. And in order to open the deep link, I need an intent. So I create an intent. I call it deep intent. I'm gonna use a form of intent constructor that takes an action and a URI. So intent action view, the type of the action is view, and then the URI is my app / greeting, the name, the text that is here. And because this is just string, I need to convert it to URI by calling toURI. I import that function as well, and then open it by calling start activity and passing in the deep intent variable. This way of opening a deep link from another application is called explicit deep link. Actually, we are opening our deep link explicitly using an intent. The other way is opening it implicitly by clicking a link that links to that deep link, and after this one I'm gonna show you that one. So let's run this application first. Build, run app. Okay, the build is complete, it's being installed and launching the activity. As you can see, I'm inside my native app and I'm ready to enter a name here. I enter, for example, my own name, Mehdi, and press open deep link. It should open the other application. There we go. It opened the other application, and this screen is from the Compose app, and the deep link to this screen has been defined in my Compose application using the Compose navigation API. So if I change that name to, for example, John, it's gonna change that name and pass John to deep link. There we go. Hello, John. So we explicitly opened our deep link from an external application this way. The next step and the second way of opening deep link is opening it implicitly by defining a URI or a hyperlink in a web browser and then opening it from your web browser. To demonstrate that, I have created a file. I have created an HTML file. I open it with my text editor. You can see that it's a simple HTML file. It has a hyperlink and an A tag that links to my application, my app greeting developer. The name that it is passing to the deep link is developer. And the text is click this link. What I'm gonna do is drag this file to my emulator, and now I can find it from my Files app. As you can see, it's here. I open it. Let's open it with HTML viewer. And if I click this link, it must open the deep link from my Compose application. There we go. Hello developer. It worked. So you can see that creating deep links in Jetpack Compose using the Jetpack Compose navigation API is quite straightforward. Just be careful about the parameters definition and the way you pass in parameters to your URIs and to your Jetpack Compose navigation destinations. So that's it for Jetpack Compose navigation deep links. I hope that you liked this video, and I see you in the next one.